You know, usually when we talk about opening a restaurant, there is this very specific, um, incredibly stressful, almost like a cinematic image that comes to mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you're signing a 10-year commercial lease on a brick and mortar space. You're taking out a massive loan for industrial ovens and hiring a huge front of house staff.
Right, and just hoping it works out.
Yeah, basically crossing your fingers that enough foot traffic walks by your shiny new sign to keep you out of bankruptcy. I mean, it is historically one of the most expensive and risky ventures a person can take on. The overhead alone is just, it's massive.
It's an enormous barrier to entry. I mean, for decades, if you wanted to sell food, you weren't just in the culinary business. You had to play this very high-stakes game of real estate and local zoning
Yeah.
just to get a plate of food in front of a customer.
But then you look at the modern online food business model, and suddenly that whole paradigm is completely flipped on its head. It's nimble, it's hyper-targeted, and the barrier to entry is just radically lower. So, okay, let's unpack this. Today's deep dive is all about navigating this massive shift.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at a comprehensive playbook on exactly how to start an online food business in 2026, because the scale of this industry right now it's just staggering.
Yeah, because set the baseline here. The global online food delivery market is projected to hit 1.8545 trillion US dollars by 2029.
Wait, trillion.
Trillion with a T.
Oh my God.
And it's growing at over 9% annually from 2024 to 2029.
A nearly $2 trillion kitchen. That's wild.
What's fascinating here is that this kind of explosive growth isn't just padding the bottom line for, massive multinational fast food chains.
Right.
It is actually creating this vast, decentralized ecosystem for home chefs and meal preppers and highly niche food creators. The digital infrastructure is finally mature enough for the little guy to grab a slice of that trillion-dollar pie without needing $1 million bank loan.
Which is exactly our mission for this deep dive. Whether you are an aspiring chef or someone looking for a lucrative side hustle or just a person analyzing modern business trends, we are going to break down the exact roadmap, the real costs and the hidden traps of this online food boom.
Yeah.
Because you can't just cook good food and expect to magically grab a piece of that market. You actually have to prove people will buy it first.
Exactly. The biggest trap early entrepreneurs fall into is relying entirely on passion.
Right, the romantic idea.
Yeah, passion doesn't automatically equal a viable business model.
Yeah.
You have to strip the romance out of the kitchen early on and ask some really hard analytical questions about validation.
Okay, like what?
Like, what specific problem does this food solve for the customer? Are they buying this once a year for a special occasion, or are they relying on it 3 times a week for a quick lunch?
I have to push back a little on this right out of the gate, though, because it challenges the whole romantic ideal of starting a food business. I mean, isn't it enough to just have your grandmother's killer lasagna recipe? Like, if the food is phenomenal, shouldn't the market naturally respond to that?
I mean, the market responds to solutions, not just good flavors.
Oh, interesting.
If your grandmother's lasagna takes 4 hours to prep and costs $30 in premium ingredients,
Yeah.
it might be the best thing in the world, but it solves a very different problem than a $10 ready-to-eat meal on a busy Tuesday.
Right.
You have to evaluate the gap in your local market. Look at what competitors are charging, look at delivery times, and figure out if people are actually hungry for the specific solution you are offering.
So it's less, I love making lasagna, and more, I've noticed my neighborhood has 0 options for premium ready-to-bake family dinners under $40.
Exactly. And beyond just finding the gap, you have to prove you can produce that lasagna consistently at scale.
Oh, right.
This is the core of the validation phase. You don't sign a lease or buy 1,000 custom boxes on day 1. You run a small test or a limited launch, you make 20 portions, sell them to a small network, and rigorously track the data.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, you are looking for your average order value, how many people actually come back for a second order, and the brutal, honest feedback about the taste and presentation after it's been sitting in a delivery car.
Because that ruins it sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You also have to pick your specific lane during this test phase. There are distinct models to choose from, and they drastically change how you operate.
Right.
You've got the home-based food business, the online restaurant, and then things like meal kits, which are huge right now because they solve that exact decision fatigue problem for busy families, or a specialty food store focusing on artisanal cheeses or exotic snacks.
Your chosen model dictates everything. It changes your startup costs, your marketing strategy, and your legal requirements. But before a business owner even gets to the legalities, they have to decide what physical item is going in the box.
Yeah, and this was one of the most surprising takeaways for me. When you look at the data on the easiest foods to sell online, it's not these elaborate multi-course culinary masterpieces.
Not at all.
It is nuts. Pickles, popcorn, sandwiches, tacos, and meat marinades.
Yeah.
On paper, it sounds incredibly unglamorous.
They are unglamorous, but they are structurally sound. A major part of validating a food product for online delivery is understanding the physics of transportation.
The physics.
Right, foods like nuts and pickles and marinades require far less delicate temperature control. A jar of gourmet pickles isn't going to collapse if a delivery driver hits a pothole.
Good point.
But a multi-tiered souffle or a highly intricate pastry is going to look like a disaster zone by the time it reaches the customer's dining room table.
That makes total sense. You are essentially engineering food for travel from day one. And validating that practical, durable business idea naturally forces you to figure out exactly who is going to buy it. Which brings us to a strategy that seems to define the most successful modern food brands, and that's hyper-niching.
Yeah, trying to fight massive delivery giants like Uber Eats or Grubhub on a broad citywide scale is a quick way to burn through startup capital.
Right.
The alternative is finding a highly specific audience and building an ecosystem entirely around them. There's a compelling case study on this involving a startup called Easy Eats.
Oh, yeah. Easy Eats is fascinating. They were founded by college students, and instead of trying to conquer a whole city, they built a delivery service exclusively for university students.
They looked at a university campus not just as a location, but as a closed ecosystem with very unique pain points. I mean, standard delivery drivers hate delivering to dorms.
Oh, I bet.
The campus maps are confusing. There's security gates, and finding parking is a nightmare. Easy Eats recognized that trying to be a general food delivery app was a losing battle, so they focused entirely on solving the specific problems of their campus.
It's like skipping the ocean to fish in a very small but incredibly well-stocked pond.
That's exactly it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the lesson for any new entrepreneur is that you don't need to serve everyone from day one. Easy Eats offered features that mattered specifically to their niche.
Right, like what?
They built in group ordering, so college kids could easily split bills without doing the math themselves.
Oh, that's smart.
They tailored dorm delivery routing. They even created a custom onboarding process to exclusively hire fellow student drivers who already knew how to navigate the campus maze.
And they didn't just throw up a basic Shopify site either. They partnered with a tech company called Enatega to build a completely custom app. They built digital infrastructure that was meant only for this specific ecosystem, giving them total control over the user experience.
And that hyper-focus is what attracts capital. Easy Eats ended up winning $25,000 in the Greenlight Maine competition.
Wow, $25,000 just for that.
Yeah, and that funding and exposure gave them the runway to expand their highly specialized model to nearby universities. A clear niche gives you a clear value proposition. Whether you are targeting fitness enthusiasts who want high-protein meal prep delivered on Sunday nights or office workers who need quick brain-boosting lunches delivered to the lobby, narrowing your focus is your best defense against massive competitors.
Okay, so let's say I've got my niche. I am going to sell my famous, highly validated, structurally sound spicy pickles exclusively to college students.
Perfect.
Now we have to talk about the physical reality of building this business, like real money and real rules. Do I need a $100,000 commercial kitchen just to get these pickles in a jar?
The startup costs are actually surprisingly accessible, though they do scale rapidly depending on your ambition. If you are starting a simple home-based business, which is typically restricted to things like baked goods, dry snacks, or certain jams, the estimated startup cost is just $200 to $1,500.
Wait, that is incredibly low.
It is.
That's essentially a couple of high-end blenders, some bulk ingredients, and a good run of custom packaging.
Yeah, it's the ultimate lean startup. But if you step up to an e-commerce food store, perhaps selling a wider variety of packaged snacks or shelf-stable foods that require more robust inventory management, you're looking at a jump to about $3,000 to $10,000.
Okay.
And if you decide to run a virtual restaurant or a hot meal prep business, the costs rise to between $5,000 and $25,000.
Yeah.
That covers leasing time in a shared commercial kitchen, heavier duty equipment, and more complex permitting.
Which is still a fraction of the cost of outfitting a traditional restaurant. But we have to talk about the authorities, the food cops. Because you can't just cook whatever you want in your home kitchen, throw it in a cardboard box, and mail it across the country.
No, you really can't. The regulatory landscape is strict for a very good reason. I mean public safety. This is where entrepreneurs run into cottage food laws. In the U.S., many states allow you to manufacture low-risk foods in a standard home kitchen.
And what counts as low risk?
The scientific threshold for low risk usually comes down to moisture content and pH levels. Baked goods, dry mixes, and certain high-acid foods like specific jams are generally safe because they don't support the rapid growth of dangerous bacteria at room temperature.
But the second you introduce heat meat or anything that requires refrigeration to stay safe,
The rules completely change. Hot meals, perishable items, and most complex canned goods legally require a licensed commercial facility. You cannot make chicken salad in your apartment and sell it online.
yeah, that's a recipe for a lawsuit.
Exactly. You have to engage with the FDA for federal labeling requirements, ensuring every potential allergen is clearly listed. You have to schedule inspections with your local health department. And for international markets, you're navigating equivalent bodies like the FSA in the UK or the CFIA in Canada.
So you cannot bypass the health inspector.
No.
And physical logistics extend way beyond the kitchen walls, too. It's also about sourcing reliable vendors and compliant packaging. I mean, a crushed cupcake in the mail or a leaky jar of my spicy pickles ruins the brand instantly.
Yep.
The customer doesn't care that the postal service was rough with the box. They just know they paid $20 for a product that arrived looking like a crime scene.
Which is why packaging is not just a line item cost. It is a critical piece of structural engineering. It has to regulate temperature, prevent moisture migration, and protect the physical integrity of the food, all while acting as your primary marketing billboard when the customer opens the box.
Right. Okay, so we've validated the idea. We've found our hyper-specific niche. We've built the kitchen, and we've kept the health inspector happy. Here's where it gets really interesting, because here is where most food businesses actually die.
Yeah.
The math. We have to talk about the silent partner in online food delivery.
Yes, the third-party delivery applications.
The math breakdown on this is honestly a masterclass in why so many food businesses fail, even when they have a wait list of customers. Let's look at the economics of a standard $16 meal. If I am selling a plate of food for $16, I start by subtracting my direct costs. Say $4 for the raw ingredients,
Right.
75 cents for that structurally sound packaging, $2 for the labor to prep and cook it, $3 for the delivery logistics, 50 cents for the payment processing fee, and $1 for marketing to acquire that customer.
So when you add all those variable costs together, the total cost to produce and deliver that single meal is $11.25.
Which leaves a contribution margin of $4.75 per order. Out of $16, I am keeping less than $5 to actually run my business.
And that $5 has to do a lot of heavy lifting. It has to pay for your fixed costs. Let's say your fixed monthly expenses, like the rent for your commercial kitchen space, your insurance, your software subscriptions. Let's say they total $1,900 a month.
Right.
You take that $1,900 and divide it by your 4.75 margin. The math dictates that you need to sell exactly 400 orders a month, or about 13 to 14 orders every single day, just to hit zero.
Just to hit zero.
To break even. You don't make a single cent of actual profit until order number 401.
Wow. And that is assuming a perfect static world where the price of eggs or flour doesn't suddenly spike due to a supply chain issue.
Which it always does. So you have to build in a buffer. The standard advice is to always add a 5 to 10% cushion to your pricing. Instead of aiming for a 4.75 margin, you engineer your menu and your prices to hit a 5.25 or 5.50 margin.
Just to give yourself some breathing room.
Yeah, that absorbs the shock when your tomato supplier suddenly raises their prices by 20% in the middle of winter.
But wait, we haven't even brought in the silent partner yet. That $16 math assumes you are managing your own sales channels. What happens if I decide it's too much work to build my own website and I just list my famous spicy pickles on Uber Eats, DoorDash, or Grubhub?
That is the ultimate trap for new food businesses. Those third-party platforms are charging fees that typically range from 15% to 30% per order.
30%.
They justify this because they are providing the marketplace and the logistics. But the impact on your bottom line is just devastating.
Okay, let's do the math on that. If I sell that same $16 meal on an app that takes a 30% cut, they are taking $4.80 right off the top.
Yep.
But my entire contribution margin after paying for ingredients and labor was only $4.75.
Exactly. You are operating at a 5-cent deficit on every single order. You are literally paying people to eat your food.
Now,
The more successful you are on the app, the faster you go bankrupt.
Faith, that's genuinely terrifying. It
Yeah.
really forces a massive mindset shift for a new owner. You cannot just look at the taco truck down the street and say, well, they charge $3 a taco, so I'll charge $3. You have no idea what their margins are.
Pricing based on competitors is a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You must calculate your actual specific costs first. The overarching strategy for long-term survival is to use those massive third-party apps purely for discovery.
Oh, so you still use them?
Right. Let customers find you there. But your ultimate goal must be driving them to your own native website or custom app. You have to capture that audience so you can keep the 30% fee and actually build a sustainable profit margin.
Okay, so the margins are razor thin, but you've done the math. You've got your own ordering platform to protect your profits. None of that financial modeling matters, though, if the customer has a bad experience when the physical product actually arrives. There is a massive, often disappointing gap between a beautifully lit, perfectly styled Instagram photo of a meal and that same meal arriving lukewarm in a cardboard box 45 minutes late.
It's the truth. Bridging that gap is the delivery gauntlet. It fundamentally comes down to managing three massive challenges: customer expectations, rigorous quality control, and market price management.
Right.
When it comes to expectations, the modern consumer is ruthless. They demand exact visual matches to the marketing material they saw online. If the cheese isn't perfectly melted and gooey the way it looked in the video, they feel cheated and they will leave a one-star review.
Which goes back to the physics of food delivery. A huge issue is moisture migration. If you take hot, crispy tacos and seal them in a plastic container, the steam has nowhere to go. It condenses on the lid and rains back down, turning your beautiful product into a soggy mess. You have to literally re-engineer your packaging, poking ventilation holes, separating the wet ingredients from the dry, just to survive a 20-minute car ride.
And quality control extends to your supply chain too. You are in a constant battle to vet and secure reliable suppliers for fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
If your primary produce vendor sends a batch of subpar, watery tomatoes, and you use them anyway because you have orders to fill, the customer doesn't blame the vendor.
No, they blame you.
They blame your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Supply chain consistency is brand consistency.
Which is exactly why you don't just turn on a massive marketing campaign on day one. You have to run a true soft launch. You don't open the floodgates. You intentionally limit your radius to maybe 2 miles, or you only accept 20 orders a night.
Right, you stress test the kitchen flow.
Exactly. You figure out that your assembly line falls apart if 3 orders come in at once, or that your custom boxes are actually really hard to fold under pressure.
Yep. A soft launch provides a controlled environment to find and fix those operational bottlenecks before you have 100 angry customers demanding refunds. You are testing the machinery of your business, not just the recipe.
And once you fix those bottlenecks, that is when you earn the right to scale. Scaling isn't just about dumping money into Facebook ads to sell more food. It is about continuously collecting that customer feedback, analyzing the data, and maybe introducing new high-margin product lines, or partnering with local micro-influencers to push your now perfected, perfectly packaged product.
Yeah, scaling safely means ensuring the logistical system you built can handle the heavy weight of success without the food quality dropping a single percent.
So what does this all mean? If we are going to synthesize this entire roadmap for someone ready to dive into the trillion-dollar online food market, it's clear that culinary talent is just the entry fee.
Just the beginning.
You have to analytically validate the market before you spend a dime. You need to pick a hyper-specific niche, just like Easy Eats did with their closed campus ecosystem. You have to calculate every single cent of your margins, guarding against those 30% delivery app fees like your life depends on it. And you have to obsessively protect your food quality through the brutal physical realities of the delivery process.
It's a complex logistical puzzle that demands as much operational discipline as it does culinary art.
Well,
And looking at all of this, especially the heavy reliance on digital platforms to protect margins, this raises an important question.
oh, I like where this is going.
If the ultimate goal for a truly profitable online food business is to pull customers off of discovery platforms like Uber Eats and onto their own custom apps, just like Easy Eats did by building custom infrastructure with tech developers, are the most successful future food brands actually going to be tech companies that just happen to sell sandwiches?
Wow.
Like, will owning your own digital real estate, your own data, and your own notification channels become just as vital to survival as owning a phenomenal recipe?
That is a phenomenal thought to leave on. If you don't control the digital table, you don't really own the restaurant. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the massive online food boom. Keep validating, keep analyzing your margins, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.